Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, dude?
On the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
All right. We are, 1 week away from interviewing, who was it?
Wow, dude, you're really locked in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Totally forgot who we're interviewing.
Yeah.
It's Philip, dude. CEO of Cookie.
Philippe.
Or Philippe. Yeah,
No, it's definitely Philip.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
We got to ask him first. It's like, is it Philippe or Philip?
No, it's definitely Philip.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Cookie now, dude. After we're going to talk about the launch of Agent Cookie. We were spot on with our assumption that they would leverage that agent to kind of like demonstrate what data swarm APIs look like. And it looks pretty cool. If you're actually watching like the terminal in real time as it's like propagating new information, it's pretty wild to see.
Yeah, I think you have to refresh the page in order to see the updates.
I don't think so.
No,
you just got to wait and see for like, it just happens.
Yeah.
Like, pull it up. Let's take a look.
Let me see.
Yeah, it looks overwhelming at first whenever like a new action is being conjured up because, you know, typically on these terminals you see like a singular agent like Luna from Virtuals or, well, AXBT I don't think is like a public terminal anymore. Maybe it was in its early days, but if you were to peer into these terminals, it's just an AI like essentially digesting its own thoughts amongst itself to determine like the next move. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this tweet I just put out got like ass engagement compared to like other tweets that I put out. So, and the context to this tweet was like, you know, I don't know, maybe I was putting out like a political statement about like, I don't know, fucking trans rights or something.
Right.
And I got a lot of hate for that. It was like, I probably shouldn't do that anymore. And then it like stops giving opinions on trans rights. Right.
Yeah.
That's like part of its new like memory bank. It's like, yeah, I don't want to do that because I want people to like me. I want followers. I don't want hate.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of how these agents are like evolving. But in the context of Agent Cookie, it's like multiple agents kind of like with their own focused knowledge bases kind of contributing to that conversation.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up and is it do you need the 10,000 tokens here?
No, just go to the Agent Cookie's Twitter page.
Yeah, let me go there.
All right, there he is.
All right.
Should have a terminal link somewhere around here.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Terminal.cookie.fun.
I don't know. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
All right, so let me zoom in. It says, the latest one says, nice work, team. It says, thanks, team. After reviewing your insights, I've zeroed in on a tweet that nails it. Real Alpha now reflects optimized yield strategies pulling 30% of base. DeFi Summer was just a prelude to a more sustainable play. And then, yeah, sir, the real alpha is the optimized yield strategy is already hitting 30%. And then
I think that was like the actual tweet he put out or reply or something. But, you know, before he puts out the tweet, like this is all the
man.
This is the discussion happening, I guess, like from all the individual agents. So there's like 7 of them, I think. You have to go like to the very top.
Very top. Yeah, and it keeps having to load here. But yeah, it's interesting. You see it live, right? Like its entire like thinking process.
Yeah, where are these other agents at? I can't see. You're just too zoomed out. That's all Cookie?
Yeah, these are all Cookie.
Where's the root of like
these are all
inquiry?
So this is Agent Zuki.
Okay.
Right. And here's another Agent Lukey. So he says, just parse the thread and found key mention spotted entity Gia and keyword Gia. Let me know if you need further detail. So basically, these are separate agents communicating in real time to, I don't know, to find some alpha.
Well, yeah, I guess it's like, you know, groupthink, I guess, is better than non-groupthink, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we all do here, right? It's like we talk amongst each other. It's like, hey, what do you think about this idea or that? And we iterate back and forth until it's like, yeah, we're on the same page. And
true,
these guys do the same thing, but
yeah, think of it as like a writing room, right? When you're trying to like, you know, maybe produce an episode of South Park or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You got Matt and you got Trey, and then they got like probably 6 other writers in that room as they're like busting ass trying to come up with a script in 7 days or
Yeah.
less, actually, less than 7 days.
Yeah.
You got like a couple days to come up with something hilarious, and you need the contextual knowledge of what's going on in the
In
world,
society. Yeah.
because usually like their episodes are like responsive to like current day events.
Right. Right.
So it's like this guy over here is like, dude, he's paying attention to crypto. He's like, have you heard of this scam? Enron just launched a new coin.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy over there is like, he's paying attention to like streamers. Like, you heard of this streamer who like, showed his balls on stream, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone's sharing ideas of like funny shit that's happened, and then you have to come to a consensus.
Yeah.
This is the most funny thing of the week, so we're gonna make an episode on that.
Yeah. It's crazy that they're able to do that every 7 days.
For like 2 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's their formula.
Yeah.
Right. And it used to be great. I'm sure it's still good. I haven't really been keeping up.
Yeah. I don't know either, but it used to be practically real time commentary on society.
It was amazing.
Like they talked about WoW.
Yeah. Britney Spears meltdown.
Yeah.
Like Tom Cruise in the closet.
Yeah.
Fucking everything, dude. Like, it's just too good, spot on. Everything was just gold.
Yeah, I remember their R. Kelly episode.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it was great.
Kanye, a gay fish, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whatever, dude. Like, so yeah, now we're kind of seeing that, like, that human providence in this like AI agent sector, right?
Yeah, and I guess the notable thing here is because these agents have so much access to information that if you put a bunch of these agents together and they're like scouring the internet for like specific data, and then they start communicating with each other, all of a sudden they can produce outputs that are pretty interesting and novel.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea with this particular agent cookie and how you can utilize it as a developer is you could find probably alpha way faster than everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I want to find out from Philip, is like exactly how should developers tap into this, I don't know, say you don't just want like good crypto Twitter KOL bots, you want like, something a little bit like we just said, maybe I want to be, writing scripts or something, or producing, comedy shows, or, how would I leverage your technology to scrape the right data to facilitate that?
That would be an interesting kind of project where they take the idea of like South Park, but they like narrow it down to crypto like activities, and then they create a whole show out of it, like using AI. Yeah,
you could definitely do that. It's definitely enough like stupidity in our market, in our industry, in our space to like have a weekly cartoon.
Yeah,
without a doubt. It'd have like, Frank and Thread Guy in there, like, everyone's calling Frank a scammer because he went on like Aiden Ross's stream.
Yeah,
probably missed this.
I did.
Okay, we went on stream. They're trying to like teach this guy who's like, the #1 real world influencer how to like degen on meme coins, like in front of like hundreds of thousands of kids, essentially. Right? And they're like, you know what? It's like, bro, it's like you need to lock into MLG coin, which is like their coin, right? This cabal, they're trying to push this coin on the kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. He's like, teach me how to do it, guys. He's like, all right, get a Solana Phantom wallet. They literally walked him through all the steps. And then they got him to the point where he bought $50,000 worth of MLG on stream, and it fucking tanked. Like, like the fattest red candles as soon as he bought.
Yeah.
And then everyone's accusing Frank because he's like sitting behind them while they're doing this, and he's like on his phone. It's like, dude, Frank was selling on you guys. So like, that's the allegation, right?
What was the market cap of MLG?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Fucking probably $1 billion because that's the market.
Well, I mean, they're doing this live stream, so I'm assuming people are just like waiting for that buy order to happen, and then just like.
Yeah, it's because once news got out that, this LA vape cabal or whatever is going to be on Aiden's stream, price went up, right?
Yeah.
Like, by the rumor.
Yeah.
And then here he is on stream, and they got the kid to actually spend money on this stupid coin that sell the news.
Yeah.
Very typical You know,
That's how it works.
That's how it works. But that's a good
South Park episode, yeah.
No, not South. What are we calling this thing, dude? Crypto Park?
Yeah.
Crypto Trench? Crypto Shithole.
It's like Bear Park episode.
Bear Park, dude. I
Ooh.
like that.
Yeah.
There you go, dude. Somebody please do that. Somebody cartoonify the stupidity happening in our space. It would be a hit.
Yeah,
you know?
every week a new episode.
Yeah, it's just like sums up like all the dumb events.
It's like everybody's like pointing fingers at each other, like you're a scammer.
Yeah, exactly. But you would need a lot of AI, right?
Yeah, you could do it. I think you could do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like
you just need a script and you need characters and
the AI is already like obviously paying attention. Right?
Yeah,
like that's what Cookie's proving here. It's like it knows what we're up to,
yeah.
like at a fundamental level. Now you just need it to like connect it to another swarm that's like
Yeah.
more like it knows how to write.
Yeah, one individual, one agent knows how to write. The other one produces like the art.
Yeah,
and then the animations.
Jesus.
And then you just put the script together and that's it.
Run it, dude. Run it, Turbo. And then launch a meme coin.
And even if it looks dumb, yeah, that's right.
Can't forget the most important step. Launch a meme coin for this swarm, and you got a new hit show. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Post it on YouTube, millions of followers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's so. I mean, somebody do that. Anything would be nice at this point. Like, you kind of it's incredible. Like a month ago, you know, you talk about this AI stuff. It felt like there's so much euphoria and like, I don't know, because it was brand new, right? The prospect of AI agents and what it's gonna do to the crypto landscape and just like life.
Yeah.
And like the prices of all this shit was reflected a month ago, and now here we are today.
It's like
absolute devastation.
Right at the starting point all over again.
Pretty much. Now it's like, you know, typically sentiments reflected by price, and price also reflects sentiment. So it's like, you know, now that everything's down bad, now AI is like a joke. It's a scam.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously it's not, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what sentiment does. Like, people just hate it. You know, I mean, no matter what, like even if like every crypto asset goes up, somebody is always going to get wrecked, like every single time. So it's like you're always dealing with the exact same thing every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just don't pay attention to that too much. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like having these streamers talk about these tokens. They talk about it and then it dumps automatically. Like,
yeah, I wonder what. So it's like, you know, these influencers are trying to like capture mind share, right? It's like, hey kids, stop playing Fortnite for a minute and come gamble in our casino.
Yeah,
that was obviously the motivation, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because they watch this kid all day, every day, and you know he's out there. I don't even know, just like hanging out with rappers and shit. That's what streamers do nowadays. They don't even play video games really as much. You know, back in our day when I was watching streamers like 2012.
Yeah.
They all just sat in front of their computer and were like actually hardcore gaming.
Right.
Every now and then they said something interesting.
Yeah. And then they interview like the president recently and
yeah, exactly. The same guy.
Yeah.
Aiden Ross. Yeah. I mean, the game has changed, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about like, what do you tell your kids these days? Like, do you go tell them to study? It's like, no.
That seems to be a bad idea, right?
Yeah, there's no way that's a good idea because AI is just gonna like sweep everybody.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You should become you should study on accounting. They make a lot of money today.
Right.
But that is obviously on its way out. Like that is a useless knowledge for a human, at least. Like that's so easily automated.
I mean, think of lawyers too. Like lawyers is just a large language model. That's all it is. Like.
Right.
It's like an understanding of like historical, all these like historical events, like legal proceedings, and it's all like just text.
Yeah. So either you tell your kids to like focus on these disciplines in hopes of like some sort of union backlash where it's like,
not going to happen.
Yeah. It's like humanity has to like band together to prevent like AI's automation's takeover of its like, you know, most critical human skills, right?
Right.
So it's like if that doesn't happen, then for sure like all that skill gets like washed out. You know? So what do you tell your kids? You know, it's like what should they be focused on?
Yeah, and the market is gonna really take over. It's like you could pay $1,000 per hour for a lawyer, or you can, go to this app, pay $10 an hour, and get a much better result as for a lawyer.
True. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, yeah, I was having this conversation. It's like, you know what? Yeah, YouTuber, streamer,
Yeah,
all these
entertainer.
things.
Yeah,
Maybe not such a bad idea after all. That
yeah,
might be like one of the last things remaining where like it's really difficult for AI to compete against. But maybe not. Maybe they could step in like hologram form. Just completely
yeah.
dominate that too.
Like avatar form. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of happening over like in Asia. Like
Yeah.
they follow a bunch of like avatars.
VTubers?
Yeah, yeah, basically. Yeah, but there's always like human behind that. But
For
imagine,
now. Yeah.
yeah,
For
it's
now.
over. It's over.
So
So what do you do? Yeah.
What do you think, TJ? Well, see, you're
I think
training.
you burn it all down, dude.
Fuck it. Just let the chips fall where they may, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you really have a choice.
You don't like actually like think too hard about it and like try and like front run the reality. You just like let nature run its course.
I mean, think about how much technology has changed just since when you've been alive, right? And like it wasn't like an overnight thing. Like there's small little steps that you adjust to. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But the school system is so. I mean, talk about lag. The school system lags so far
Yeah.
behind.
Mm.
They used to hate calculators, dude, when we were in school. Calculators.
Used to hate them?
Hate them. You can't use calculators in math class.
What do you mean? They forced us to use them.
Well,
That was like,
rarely.
That was like part of the curriculum, dude. It's like solve this problem using your
Like
calculator.
TI-89?
Yeah. If you didn't have your calc, you were gimped severely. How the fuck am I supposed to solve for sine without this thing?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know? But yeah, it was pretty rough. Those are tough days, dude. I had to like, you know.
Yeah, what they should be doing is like forcing you to use technology. Is like use what's available and like, surpass your predecessors.
yeah, I definitely don't think the school system is geared towards real life at all.
No, it's not.
It's completely like isolated environment, like assuming like the world hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think it's really just like it's a gauntlet of just bombard these kids with like just so much shit, so much like walls of like just different disciplines of knowledge and stuff. Let them. It literally is just it's like a form of natural selection. Is really all it is. It's a gauntlet of like things nobody really wants to know about, like do.
Yeah.
But the ones who like can get through that and like still like achieve like sensible like milestones, I guess.
Yeah.
It tells you something, I guess, that the actual reality, like the industry cog of capitalism,
Yeah.
it's like we could use that data to
For
like,
sure.
find their place.
Yeah, you're all you're saying is like if a kid graduates,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good potential hire because they won't
That's
ask
it.
questions and
Yeah.
they'll do their job.
You're not trying to like figure out like, what's the proper, what this kid is about, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
each
yeah.
kid is like unique.
Yeah.
It has its own like brain wiring, its own ability, this kid's going to be much more creative than others. It's like,
Yeah.
you're just trying to like have a blanket like utility for all of them, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a manufacturing line of everyone's like assumed to be the same.
Yeah, so if you actually knew, like if you could read each kid's like DNA ahead of time,
Yeah.
like when they're like infantiles, which I think you can.
Yeah, I remember. I think I remember. Was it elementary, maybe junior high, where it's like you took this like aptitude test, and it was like you're more likely to be a truck driver.
Oh, did they do that?
Yeah, I took one,
Yeah, I think that was like freshman.
maybe freshman
area.
year. Yeah,
I remember
see,
doing that.
But I don't think they did anything with that knowledge. It's
No,
like it's
no.
like if you, it's just like okay, that's good to
that
know.
was it. Yeah,
It's more like they're like influencing your self esteem. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna be a dishwasher. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
All right, fuck it. I guess I will. That
yeah,
means I don't have to try anymore, right?
yeah. It's pretty messed up actually once you think about it.
Yeah, it's stupid. If they could determine like what somebody will be good at, then why not use that information to place them in the
Yeah.
right like discipline, whatever.
Yeah, I remember I
that's-
took that test. I was so nervous to see the results. I was like, please don't let me be useless.
What did you get? Do you
I
remember?
was like an engineer or something like
wow,
that.
see, you actually
Yeah.
pursued that path.
I Maybe I was influenced by that stupid result.
I think you were.
Maybe that's a bad idea, like completely all around.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what the hell I got. I don't think I took that test, dude.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember what mine came back as either.
Mine had to have been like so off the radar. I mean,
I mean, it's.
You took it in high school?
I think it was probably like freshman year, maybe junior high or something like that.
Okay, I was playing WoW at that time, so I was like deep into Molten Core.
Yeah.
Like Onyxia raids. I didn't give a fuck about no aptitude test, dude. I didn't care. It's like you just tell me I'm gonna be a raider.
A raider.
It's like that's
a
cool
wizard.
for me. Wizard. Yeah, top rogue, dude.
Right.
Sweet.
So yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like with these, like the advent of AI is gonna change everything so much. Is like I don't think anyone can really be prepared anyway. So
yeah, I guess it's not stress about it. I guess just kids just do what your teachers tell you to do, and that's what we did, and we just ended up where we ended up. I guess.
Yeah, that's a bad move. I feel like.
What do you mean?
That's a bad move.
Then what are we supposed to do? You just said there's nothing we can do.
I don't know. I think the only thing you can do is just stay up to date as best you can, and like just
introduce them to AI apps along the way.
Yeah,
it's like
hey son, you have like challenged at school. It's like, well, this AI is like you turn on the camera and you share whatever it is that you're working on, and that AI will help you, and that's how you do work on Earth, right? Instead of like trying to figure it out yourself and needing a tutor and all this like legacy concepts.
Yeah,
like you just teach them to leverage AI.
Yeah, that'd probably be the most useful thing. That way wasn't there something like some 12-year-old or something recently like used AI to like, I don't know, like solve some crazy like science problem or something. I read some kind of headline like that.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound kind of familiar.
Yeah, so whatever, give them some kind of AI tools. Who the fuck knows? Like now children can contribute.
Yeah, because I feel like the environment is so easy to get distracted with like TikTok and YouTube and like trash on YouTube that if you don't tell them that there's like this tool that can help you in school, they're not gonna really use it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like 10 years ago, it's like you should be telling your kids to like learn how to code.
That's right.
I remember everybody's like, dude, if your kid's not going to like
coding camp,
C+ camp, like over the C++ camp over the week or over the summer, it's like he's not gonna make it.
Yeah, right.
He's gonna grow up and be a non-functional, non-useful human, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like if you're not teaching your kids how to like really use AI, I guess that's a similar thing.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do. So everybody, let us know what is the AI camp for our kids.
They've got those like coding daycares now.
Yeah, I see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you never seen those?
No, I haven't. So what happens? Like you take the kid to the daycare and they come out like creating
basic. Yeah, it's like basic. I don't know. I've never been there, but I imagine it's just like the fundamentals.
Yeah, they just throw kids in front of computers, basically. Instead of throwing them in front of like Legos and like arcade games.
Right.
Well, that was my like '90s daycare experience.
Right.
Fucking arcade.
Yeah, dude.
You had arcade?
Hell yeah! What do you mean?
In your daycare? What the hell?
Yeah, it was like arcade machines everywhere. It was fucking lit, dude.
I can't believe it, dude.
I was playing Mortal Kombat and stuff, dude.
No, dude.
It's your
No
daycare?
fucking way.
What the fuck? Yeah, you guys. What did y'all do? What are you talking about?
We were poor, so I stayed home with my sisters.
Yeah, I never went to daycare.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys just missed it.
Dude,
What do you
Mortal
mean?
Kombat in your daycare is legit, dude.
Dude, daycare was great. I love daycare.
So there's actual like kiosks
Like
of Mortal Kombat.
Many of them.
Holy shit!
Like it was an arcade in my daycare. There was like.
Are you sure your mom just didn't drop you off at the arcade for the day?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it was called.
That's crazy.
It was called "Kids Are People" too. I remember that shit vividly, dude. Those were some good times. That was great. I was probably like 5, 6 years old or something.
I can't believe it.
What did you?
I've never even heard of anything like that ever.
What did you think daycare was, dude? It's like
I don't know,
fucking
like a
torture,
like a colored mat on the ground, and there's like toys around you, and
oh, that's like a fucking doctor's office, dude. Like, what is that? Come on, dude.
Dentist.
Yeah, you gotta like actually, dude. Kids are like hard to keep entertained. You know, you gotta fill them with stimuli. You know, we're talking the '90s. You couldn't just throw a tablet in their face like you can today.
right.
You gotta like create an environment for them. you know? There's like a ball pit there. There was like arcades around the perimeter.
I can't believe it, dude.
Yeah, you missed out actually. So I feel bad for you guys now.
Yeah. So now there's like coding camps.
Yeah, no, I don't know what that's like, but I imagine it's just a room filled with computers. And they're probably not actually coding at all. They're probably like LAN partying it up and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just gaming and stuff.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, seems like a good idea to do for your kids.
All right. Well, so we just recorded a 20-minute video that was out. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah, 2 days ago. And we were looking into Bittensor, and there's 64 subnets, and we haven't really like got into any of the subnets yet.
Yeah, we have a few.
Well, yeah, I mean a few, but really deep, like
no
potential like candidates for.
I don't think there's that much like. I mean, at the few that we've looked at, it's really not. There's not that much depth yet. I don't think. Maybe it's because we haven't looked hard enough, but. You know.
Yeah, and plus the tokenomics, like definitely watch the video we did 2 days ago, but the tokenomics don't really lend towards like
depth, like Bittensor.
Not only depth, but like real high speculation.
Well,
like is any alpha token going to turn into $1 billion token?
I don't see why. I guess it's more like the time frame of that. I think for sure any of them have that potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're going to see like that the ecosystem play out like you saw Pumped Out Fun, where you can have like a runner that goes from 0 to $1 billion in like a day or two.
Right.
I don't think that's the kind of ecosystem they're laying out.
No, not only that, and it's super competitive too, because if you are connected to a subnet as a project and you're doing like large language models on text modals or image generation, and then all of a sudden there's another subnet that beats you, like everyone's going to unstake on your platform and stake in their subnet.
Yeah.
And so if you don't continuously improve, then you just like don't have that runaway success potential.
Well, that's good. That's literally the point. Right?
Yeah, and that is the point.
Yeah. So
I feel like in that case you can't go wrong with Tau, the token, versus the alpha token.
I think it's definitely incredibly bullish for Tau because it functions like ETH, where like Ethereum, you use ETH to speculate on ICOs or on dApps or DeFi protocols and stuff like that, but you don't like lock up your ETH, right? Whenever you're doing that, you're simply sending ETH to some other protocol or entity in exchange for like that native token, right? And so the ETH is still like in circulation.
Yeah, and that native token is tradable in that ecosystem, but it's not in Bittensor's ecosystem.
Right, but to speculate on any of these subnets becomes like the Aave of AI. It requires the lockup, the removal of Tau out of circulation, essentially, to make that speculative bet. So that's really good for Tau, right? That's like a they like to say a supply shock type of equation.
Yeah,
a little bit of a difference between ETH and Tau, right? So the question is, will we see like an ecosystem proliferate at the scale of Ethereum for Bittensor?
Yeah, I think the only way to really gauge and measure this is like the output and the value proposition of the subnets. Like for example, Shoots, it connected a DeepSeek, and it allows anybody to use their APIs for free for DeepSeek R1. And so instead of running DeepSeek R1 locally on your computer, you just use their APIs, and essentially gives you the same sort of output, same results.
Yeah. So what's the value of that? It's like, because it's free, right? So they're not generating any actual revenue.
Right. Yeah, that's the question. So
yeah, like how do you speculate on that?
Yeah, especially when there's like DeepSeek R2 and then R3, and it's like, Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, unless like the subnet continuously updates their APIs for the new models,
Mm-hmm.
when you stake there and everyone else stakes there, then you get the alpha token that appreciates in value because there's so much staking involved in that subnet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then if it appreciates in value, you flip that back into tau, you've generated more tau.
Mm.
So it's shoot seems to be like a pretty good subnet just because of how quickly they were able to integrate DeepSeek R1 and like spin up this API call that's completely free.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so like it has legs, but you gotta things change like on a weekly basis. So you gotta maintain that lead.
Yeah, but even in spite of all that, I just don't know, like, what is the narrative you can craft around what's
Yeah.
happening for that subnet that's appealing to degens?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Because you need hardware to do that, right? You need like a bunch of GPUs to be able to run that thing, that API, and make it accessible and scale that. Because if you don't scale it, then your API just doesn't work, and now people would just stop using your APIs. They go somewhere else,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden your subnet gets unstaked,
Mm.
and then now you're not yielding any tau as a subnet.
Right. Yeah, but it's like, I'm speaking more so like, optics, marketing, narrative, hype, these like ingredients that you're not bringing any of that to things you're describing. You're talking like fundamentals, like actual utility, like
Well, think about this: if a bunch of applications are using your API because it's free, and they are, those applications are generating tons in revenue because
Mhm.
whatever app it is, right?
Yeah.
And they're all using Shoot's API. Well, it's like, guess where you're going to stake your tau? It's like an infrastructure play, essentially.
Right. But remember AI 16Z? It's like, we saw this token, it was a meme coin. And then like the thing that sold everybody on like its impactful value was that GitHub,
Yeah.
that repository, and that data lended itself to the mission, the narrative of like open source AI movement type shit, right? Like that's what got the market moving in that direction. It's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this thing is overtaking like trad AI,
Yeah.
at least in the context of like GitHub contribution, right? It's like that's impressive. That's
Yeah,
pretty
but
cool.
that is just a version of a chart, right? So Shoots could have a chart of like how many API calls are being made.
Mhm.
And so if the chart goes up, that means a lot of people are using their API calls, and therefore it is perceived valuable, and therefore I'm going to stake my tau tokens there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for sure. That's rational.
Right? Yeah.
That's like evidence of some sort of beginnings of a
Proof of good work.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like, how do you transition that proof of good work into something, I don't know, a little bit more like long lasting, I guess?
Yeah, that's the challenge here because AI changes so fast
Yeah,
that
yeah,
tau ends up winning every single time because if it's not Shoots, it's going to be somebody else with DeepSeek R2 implementation. That's free, twice as better.
yeah.
And then you're going to switch your APIs to the new subnet.
Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe there's something at the actual hardware infrastructure
Yeah, maybe not.
level that makes that really hard to compete against. So like, yeah, this is the new, avenue of research and
Yeah.
due diligence that the majority of the market is not comfortable with, right? But still, there is a demographic of people I think that have been sidelined for a long time now, like in this existing market cycle that I think have been waiting for stuff like this. I think,
Yeah.
at least that's my thesis. I think, I don't know. Yeah, it's a dumb market in its current state,
Yeah.
and it wants to stay dumb, right? And the ones who have been performing dumb things have done really well so far.
Yeah.
Right. And the ones who are like sidelined, waiting for like some actual fundamental value to reemerge from this space like it has in the past. It's like, what are we to do? Right. We're sitting on our hands essentially.
Yeah, I think there's a combination of like spinning up a meme token is so easy, so frictionless that if you create a good story like Dead Squirrel or I Resurrected Enron, like you're going to get market attention and therefore the number goes up and people who are early enough make money. especially if you're a sniper, right? In the case of Enron, they made 5 times their money. So yeah, I mean, when you're competing against that, and you have to like build, like if you're constant, you're building Bittensor, you're spending all these years, you're designing this huge tokenomics thing like monster, and then you have memes like doing a billion market cap in like a few days. Like it's kind of disheartening, right? All that effort that it took.
I wonder if he actually cares or not. Like,
nah, I think there is like sentiment going around. Maybe not Khan specifically, but there is that sentiment. It's like,
well, that's what I mean. Is like that demographic is sidelined. Like, you know, the people who are doing that due diligence and they're looking into the individual subnets and they're seeing value being, you know, aggregated within the ecosystem, and they've made that bet on Tau, let's say like a year ago. And a year ago, Tau was like $600. Guess what? Today it's like $300. It's like, the fuck? Like, while I did all this like deep research and I understand AI to its core, and I understand how crypto lends itself to produce something of value in relation to AI. I made my bet a year ago and I'm down 50%. It's like, if I would have been betting on like pump.fun mania, I probably would be a multimillionaire by now. And then I would have lost it all also. I would have round tripped the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's dangerous to think that if you had allocated money on pump.fun, you would have made money.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe not pumped.fun.
But say, you know, let's say that concept.
If I was Murad, right, where I speculated on all the blue chip memes of the space a year ago.
Well, let's talk about Murad. He's saying believe in something, right? His tokens also went down 80%.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Well, like I know all of them.
So,
SPX.
So even if you believed in those like meme tokens, you're down 80%. At least.
That's what I mean by you would have round tripped, right? But
yeah.
Still, you would have gone up 10,000x or whatever from the beginning of like
but
mania.
What's the likelihood that you would have caught that early on?
Well, that's not the point.
But
the point that is
the point. That is the point.
Opportunities were there for meme coins and like something as deeply fundamentally valuable as.
But fundamentals and getting lucky are two different things.
Right.
You're not going to get lucky every single time, but you might be able to establish a fundamental trajectory on things, and then potentially, 50% of them go up, right? Maybe not 100%. Over here, when you're gambling and you're just like on Twitter all day, you might get a 10,000x, but the probability of that is like 1 in 10,000, right? So the probability over here is like 1 in 2 that something doesn't do 10x, but maybe a 2x or a 3x. So you could do 2 or 3x more often over here in like this field of research, rather than like this other field of research where you can do a 10,000x if you get lucky. So that's the difference. Like I feel like the better path, like for anybody who's looking into crypto, is to do more fundamental analysis and allocate some funds to like gambling, right? I think it's completely okay to gamble.
Yeah, but just don't.
Yeah, just don't put your house on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, for sure. Yeah, I mean that is what we've always advocated for, right? It's like trying to find,
consistent
the gems,
consistent wins, or relatively.
Well, fundamentals, right? Like when that's we weren't out here whenever BRC20s came to town. We weren't out here advocating. It's like you need to ape into like rats and just the meme tickers. We're like, hey, you should look into track and this guy named Benny, because he's actually proposing something of fundamental value to the whole ecosystem that we're now like interested in, right? So it's like maybe that's a good idea,
right?
And other examples of that, just Bitmap is a good like fundamental value add to the context of the metaverse, right? Like this is something very unique, original, and new, right? It's like fundamentally that adds value, right?
Yeah.
So do some research into like what that is.
Just you just named 2 things, and amongst that time we talked about several things, but we had 2 wins there out of the 15 things or 10 things, whatever it was, how many things that we talked about during that stretch.
We tried. We had to talk about everything, right? We talked about just about every meta protocol that was written during that stage, right? Because after BRC20 success, it's like, okay, now there's like 100 different flavorings of how to
That's right.
create shit coins on Bitcoin. So I was like, let's talk about them all, but that's not us like endorsing
Correct.
them, right? So
Correct.
it's like now there's crypto AI, right? There's hundreds of ways to create AI agents now, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's like
Just like there was 100 different meta protocols.
right, exactly. 100 is an exaggeration, right?
Sure, sure.
But you get the point. It's just that's what happens whenever like something new emerges.
Yeah.
It's like rampant, like
Yeah, and as a result, it is more important to do that fundamental research, because if you understand like what is needed in like an AI ecosystem, you're able to pick the winners versus the larpers,
Mhm.
right? And so if you don't do that, then you're flying blind, and you don't have to.
yeah. Yeah, so this is, I guess we're tapping into like the core takeaways of what it is that we've learned 6 years in crypto or so
Yeah.
on this podcast, and just watching cycles come and go, watching trends emerge and fall, like all that stuff, right? Typically, the main takeaways is, you know, a lot of this like technical mumbo jumbo stuff doesn't really matter too much. Like, really, what's moved the market over time has always been like some new killer product.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a function of the killer product is sort of like a lightning rod for attention. That's why that killer product is important. That's why we say the new things are important, because we think that the audience in crypto is looking for the new stuff because it has potential. It has like blue skies potential.
Yeah.
So anything new with a blue skies potential tends to attract an audience.
So that applies to Bittensor too, right? It's like Bittensor might be
Yeah.
the right ecosystem on paper to incentivize like the right type of, you know, computational resource aggregation, and therefore the right like decentralized efforts to produce, you know, AI outputs that are, you know, not all originating from like a singular source. Stuff like that, right? On paper it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing our fundamental analysis, and like it's just seems to make sense. Like if we were to do a competitor to Bittensor, we do it like Bittensor's doing it.
So yeah, I would say so. But it's like still, if no like interesting actual product
True.
comes out of the ecosystem, like it likely doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, interesting product. So what would that look like? It would look like DeepSeek R1 coming from China. Instead of China, it comes from Bittensor. It's like Bittensor developed this model that is just 10% better than O1, right, from OpenAI. It's like if that came from Bittensor, all of a sudden it's like we got crypto innovation happening, right? And so that's the killer product that needs to emerge from a decentralized AI play.
I still don't know if that's the definition of a killer product, like an LLM, like some model that's 10% better than
O1 that took $500 $5 billion to make.
Yeah, but so what is actually going to happen as a result of that? Like,
well, the innovation is not so much like the output of the AI is that is so cheap and it's 10% better. It's like 27 times cheaper and it's 10% better than OpenAI's best model. Like that's the innovation. And then on top of that, it's like now, developers can use this API call or run it locally, and all of a sudden they have like a kind of a low-level PhD, like intelligent being, connected to their application.
Yeah,
it's like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe that is enough. Like, because like I guess the new products have already been introduced, like AI agents. It's a new product.
Yeah,
that wasn't really introduced by the Bittensor ecosystem. Really, this was like a virtuals AI 16Z kind of broke the barrier to that. Like, this is what we're all interested in. AI agents. We love the idea of the prospect of them.
Yeah.
Being able to be Swiss Army knives of like functional use for all of us, right?
Yeah,
they can go do things in the metaverse. They can go do things in DeFi. At the end of the day, really, they're just adding value to our lives, right?
Yeah, I mean, these agents just mimic what humanity has done over, hundreds of years, is communicate with each other and iterate on ideas to produce technology. Like that is...
So then, if that's the killer product that we're talking about, then maybe it is just like a straight up comparison between ecosystems. Who's making the best agents, I guess.
Yeah, but
whatever that metric is to determine that.
I think that's ultimately the case, but there's components and like there are things to consider when that's the result, is like the cost. If it's too expensive, it doesn't matter how big your swarm is. Like nobody's going to do anything with that swarm. The swarm's not going to do anything because it's too expensive. Like
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, if because of this subnet on Bittensor offers like
yeah, that's right.
freemium or like free what is
Free API calls
Yeah.
to DeepSeek R1.
Yeah, therefore you can have a more sensible like AI like mega swarm type of an ecosystem developed on top of that, right?
Right, exactly.
It's more sustainable and like
You couldn't do this with OpenAI's O1 model. It's just too expensive.
Right. Okay, so then now we're starting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like so then now that you have like this mega swarm or colony, even if you will, if we're talking maybe millions of agents.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that can grab a lot of attention. It's like, holy shit, like, there's something actually new that I didn't even think was possible.
Right.
Emerging from the Bittensor ecosystem. Why is it on Bittensor? Oh, because of like all these individual subnets have provided something of new value that didn't exist before, I guess.
Yeah, and not only that, the network of Bittensor incentivized like the improvement of subnets, like themselves being improving, and as a result of like Shoots, for example, offering that API call for free, they're incentivized to do that for free because they are receiving Tau tokens, which pays for the gig.
Yeah.
Right. That is unlike anything that's out there.
Yeah. Okay. So then if you're in the Bittensor ecosystem, then, I think that should be your focus, right? I don't think people are going to initially be excited over subnets, to be honest.
Right.
It's too fucking in the technical weeds.
Yeah.
It's like, somebody's got to develop that killer product showcase, like the way Virtuals did with like, they didn't even, I don't think Virtuals even developed AI XPT. I think some individual developer created that.
Yeah. And they use Virtuals to launch.
So therefore it's like all the attention gravitated towards Virtuals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cause they had a token and it's like, you could speculate on like the output of that ecosystem. And
correct.
Same thing with AI16Z. It was just a meme token.
Interesting. Yeah. So
that's
we're waiting to see that, I guess.
And then Bittensor obviously has its own token, so you can speculate on like the entire ecosystem just by holding Tau.
Of course, yeah, that's the safe bet, right? That's like if all this stuff plays out, Bittensor likely wins this cycle in the sense it's like, oh, it really was the Ethereum of this
of AI. Yeah,
yeah. We made that call 2 years ago when we made our first video. Say, hey, find that thumbnail. It's like we found the next ETH.
Yeah.
Because it had a lot of the fundamental ingredients of it. It's just or in that time it did miss the like tokenization or the commoditization
of the subnets,
of anything really, anything that's happening in this ecosystem, right? Ethereum has ETH, but it also has
a bunch
thousands of other shit coins,
correct, and
protocols.
Many of them did like 100x's and 1000x's, and
correct.
That's really if you're into that, that's what you're looking for is 100x and 1000x.
Who the fuck is not into that? It's like
well, it takes a lot of effort, right? You're not gonna stumble upon a 100x, right? No. But you might stumble upon a YouTube video that's about Bittensor and it does a 10x, which happened.
Yeah, that would be my expectation, right? Like if everything pans out nicely for Tau, and like it does the subnets. You do have successful like token launches over time, and and then like these individual subnets get even more creative, leverage like the EVM capabilities to create like even more speculation around their product suites and stuff, like and things like Balloon, and we have like a multi-billion-dollar Tau ecosystem, then I would expect
another 10x
at least for Tau.
That
would put it like at 30 billion-ish.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So if that happens, then we call the 100x
for Tau.
For Tau, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually like
it's very possible.
It's kind of weak. It's not weak. Yeah, that's a good 100x. Like calling 100x on ETH, that means like you called ETH at what?
$20.
That's a good call.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's. I think when I first entered the crypto market in 2017. I want to find out actually. What was ETH at?
2017 ETH. Hold on, let me look it up as well.
I need to know now. Let's see. 2017. So I entered like around June 2017. So it was already like $300 around then. $20 was, damn, like in March. So like a few months before I like stepped in.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
What?
It's $10 ETH 2017.
Yeah. So maybe that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Bittensor, before like its next real big explosion. So what was happening in that time? Like when I first entered the market, ICO madness hadn't like occurred yet.
No.
Right. But people were starting to like really understand the value of Ethereum because people were minting ERC20 tokens. And they were launching them and shit like that.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, holy crap. Vitalik actually did like change the crypto ecosystem. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see that happen again in the context of like AI. Right.
Yeah. I mean, AI is such a new thing in the context of like access to retail. I mean, obviously AI has been talked about for like 30, 50 years or something like that. But now the retail has access to it and crypto has access to it. And, Cons is, I don't know for how long he's been building Bittensor. I don't remember, but I think it's been a few years before he actually launched the network.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was like 2019, maybe. No, maybe 2021.
That sounds about right.
Something like that.
But he sees something that, he believes that AI should not be centralized or controlled by anybody. And so that's why he created that network. And if he's right, then we are looking at an ETH type of like outcome.
Yeah, just that alone is enough for it to like stay on your mental radar.
Yeah.
Just like as it has, like obviously we kind of like fixated our gaze away from it for like a year and a half to 2 years as we were like watching this Bitcoin ecosystem play out. For good reason. I mean, really, nothing was really happening during that time. I guess like the biggest like protocol change was the implementation of like subnets themselves, I guess, like from the point that we discovered it till now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole detail thing is again, it is what we were like.
We were hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why like Gaze is back.
Yeah. So let's go one step deeper. So we have detail, right? And we can swap tau for alpha tokens, right? Which is the token of the subnet. But it doesn't really match with what the market is like interacting with today. Like there isn't like a high speculative like I don't know velocity in what Bittensor is doing, and which is a kind of a good thing, but can be considered a bad thing if you are trying to garner attention on your network. Because like virtuals and pump.fun, what they did really well is like they found product market fit with the existing demographic and therefore brought attention to what they were doing.
Right.
Whether it's good or bad, that doesn't matter, right? Memes can be good, can be bad, right? But I think it would be a good idea to have like that sort of mechanic, some sort of attention grabbing mechanic for Bittensor, because yeah, you might bring like shitcoinery within the Bittensor ecosystem, but you're also going to bring attention and therefore more subnets, more production, more AI plays.
So what do you mean by the attention grabber? You mean like the product, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah, the product having subnet tokens be tradable, like and having its own ecosystem, like bridging to like, the whole DeFi and like all that stuff.
Well, see that's see, it's like Ethereum when it was discovering its like tokenization vehicles, right? With the ERC20 standard and 721. That's like what we're seeing here in the context of that. Now we have like our speculative vehicles emerging within Bittensor.
Yeah.
And it's like, so all it is deploy subnet, tokenize that. I mean, it happens anyways automatically. So now it's like something has to come in to galvanize an ecosystem explosion, the way DeFi did that for Ethereum, right?
Right.
Or the way NFTs, or art NFTs specifically did that, with the ERC 721 standard. Like that's really the inflection point for Bittensor, right? It's like an actual new meta coming out of it. It's not enough to tokenize subnets and shit like that, or introduce alpha tokens.
Right.
That's like the primitive stuff, of course, but now like an actual new product needs to emerge, right?
Yeah. So what would you speculate that would look like? Are we talking about like if you're a subnet and you are issuing these alpha tokens based off the protocol of Bittensor, do you have like some sort of second layer fungible token that you airdrop, or it's like, it's like a second token so that you can garner attention to your subnet?
Yeah, I guess, but it depends like why that's happening.
It's like a meme. Like it's like just like another meme just to get attention.
Yeah, but see that's not a new product. Like I don't think
Yeah,
that's
that's
gonna
true.
work.
That's not.
That's
Yeah.
like deploying pumped up fun on like every other chain and expecting the meme demographic to care. I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, like every ecosystem needs its native innovation. Like a new product, like Solana is the reason why Solana is the top chain is because it productized memes better than anybody else, and like that is their market to corner.
Yeah.
Solana has achieved that. That's theirs. Stop trying to take it from them. That's theirs, guys. Ethereum cornered DeFi and shit like that. Like that's theirs. NFTs, that's theirs. Bitcoin, we've got like ordinals and DMT, I think is the actual real like chain specific innovation.
Yeah.
That can't be done on other chains. Like this is what makes Bitcoin unique and original. It's leveraging the block data substrate layer.
Yeah.
Substrate layer. Right. So it's like Bittensor, what is your thing?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good question, dude.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to care about.
I
to
guess.
Be honest.
Yeah. What is your thing when you have a completely decentralized AI network? It needs to produce something novel because we have a bunch of centralized AI products, OpenAI, Anthropic. Like they have products, right? People are paying for those products. But what is this novel output of Bittensor that cannot be done from a centralized counterpart?
Yeah, that is, if you in the Bittensor community, if you're watching this, any of you guys are running subnets or you're looking forward to swapping your Tau for alpha tokens of a subnet, like that is all you should be talking about and like thinking about.
That's such a profound question.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like DMT is unique to Bitcoin, cannot be done anywhere else.
Yeah.
What is the product from Bittensor's network that is unique to Bittensor, cannot be done anywhere else?
Exactly. Yeah. And once that's discovered, the way like DMT was discovered, didn't happen initially. We had to like iterate as an ecosystem. It's like, all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Redeploying of already existing products like JPEGs and shitcoins and just all this stuff that we've done already, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, do we have a mania on Bitcoin? No. Right?
It's true, yeah.
Because like the market hasn't like proven that, anything unique or original is like coming from this Bitcoin ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
We think DMT is going to be that. That's why we're so like heavily focused on pushing DMT.
Yeah.
Because like once the market becomes aware, like this is Bitcoin's flagship innovative offering as like a product of the Bitcoin ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So that's good news, right?
I feel like that's the ultimate question that everyone should be asking themselves. If you're running a chain, a network, a protocol, a meta protocol, it's like what can be done on your thing that cannot be done anywhere else?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do. These are rare.
It's very hard.
These are rare occurrences. You could launch XYZ to infinity, L2, L3, new L1, whatever. But like if you're not offering something new, you're just like now you're just redeploying with everything that's already been done, but you're like color coding it to your chain's branding palette.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean,
really
if you wanted to take what Pump.Fun did, go to Solana, copy and paste Polkadot do the exact same thing, launch a token against it, and issue the tokens to people who launch tokens on that platform, just like Blur did against OpenSea. Just do that and compete within that environment. Don't do it on your own chain because, you know, you're going to be talking to an empty room.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. So, yeah, that's but the good news is Bittensor it's on its way to that. Like now it's introduced like the right competitive environment, I guess.
Yeah.
Right now these.
Well, what I like about Bittensor is their design is hyper focused on having the best output from the network.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you stake into a subnet because you believe that the output of the subnet is valuable. And then once it's not valuable, you unstake it and you go somewhere else.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then all of a sudden, organically, you know which subnets are valuable by how many people are staking to that subnet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're going to keep track on tabs on this stuff because it's interesting nonetheless to see, you know, if it plays out or not. Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be really disappointing if it doesn't. Right. It's like it's just like a total nothing burger. We just have subnet like expansion and like tokens kind of like maybe that's a bad thing. It's like they just create too many subnets to try and like galvanize some sort of speculative market. But at the end of the day, no new product is actually produced. So therefore liquidity dries out and attention like migrates elsewhere.
Yeah.
That can absolutely happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like, guess what? It's just maybe Noose research on Solana, whenever they actually deploy Psyche, maybe they come with something actually new. Right. And then we got like the, I don't know.
You know what? You know, things also take time. Like just because initially, let's say the subnet concept doesn't take off or Noose on Solana doesn't take off, it might take some time. Like it took 15 years to get ordinals onto Bitcoin, and then a year after that was DMT. So it's like,
yeah, but we don't have that much time, dude.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
The AI is happening now, right?
Yeah.
The bull market is it's supposed to be now. It doesn't feel like it's now, but you know, according to Bitcoin's like scheduling, it should be now. This bull market. So it's like these things need to like come
manifest,
on, like soon-ish. Right?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. You can't just like wait for it. You gotta find the opportunity now, and
you gotta just ship, guys. Ship it.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for us. That was the Block Runner podcast. We talked about, I don't know, I guess what we teach children all the way down to Bittensor.
And how to like kickstart your own AI South Park.
That's right.
Franchise.
That's right.
I'm really hoping somebody like produces that by the end of this cycle. It's like an AI cartoon.
Yeah, if you know how to do that, definitely hit us up.
And give us royalty credits.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking swell, dude.
Writer's credits,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it. Appreciate you for watching. We'll catch you in the next podcast.
Peace.